What's going on, everyone? So here is, yeah, that's right, Reforge, doing a video here trying to justify uh, exclusives in a certain manner that is a little bit lopsided, and just other things that we need to talk about. So we're going to go ahead and get started into this real quick, and get as much reactions into this as much as possible, interjections, all that sort of stuff. So let's go, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Here we go. Get ready.
Yeah, it's going to be really funny watching people like decry worrying about your stupid little plastic box. It's going to be really interesting watching
He's talking about Alex. When I see plastic box, I know that okay, now I know those two are in some huge beef. So yeah.
them talk about Nintendo Switch 2 and if it sells well and does well and consumers respond strongly to it. Gee, I don't know what's one of the main things that's probably going to be on the Switch 2. Exclusives, those anti-consumer, corporate greed, publisher initiatives. Huh? Like, what are we doing? I'm in. This is the thing I'm most interested in. This is the thing I'm really interested in. Because all last year, false narratives died.
Let's talk about the exclusive stuff. This has been a thing. This is the reason why gaming is where it is. Exclusives do matter. They're the most important thing historically and to this day when it comes to console gaming and gaming to a certain extent. The reason why we have gaming is because Mario sold 40 million with the NES. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, of course exclusives matter. They were the key, the heart and the soul to gaming when it began. You know what I mean? And that was because of what Nintendo did, not what Sony did. You know what I mean? So he's going to try to use Nintendo's exclusive power to justify Sony's, you could say exclusives and third party deals. But what I think he's misunderstanding, and I've said this multiple times before, there's a difference between locking somebody else's games to your consoles, right? And you succeeding because of 85 to 90% of that. And your console is actually 85 to 90% first party in house. And you were always the leader of the gaming industry. You're the pioneer. You know what I mean? You don't sell out to politics. You don't betray Japan. You stay the same from the beginning. You don't have layoffs and all that weird stuff you see happening over there. You never chase power in graphics. You see, they don't really do that. And when they did, they realized that that's not what gaming is about. You know, even back then with the GameCube and all that, they did handheld and consoles on the TV screen simultaneously, nonstop, while being 80 to 90% of the ruler of that device. You see what I mean? So that's when you realize that if gaming got to where it was that way because of that, then how could you say none of that matters? So, and if anybody did say that, then obviously they are wrong about that. But I have to see the saying first because I know how people, when they're at war with each other or just in war with other people, they like to twist things to make it seem their ways. You would not be able to deny exclusivity because that's like denying one of the biggest parts of the souls of gaming and then ripping it off. You know what I mean? Because you have to look at all the sales Pokemon has ever generated, Mario has ever generated. You know what I mean? You start to see 4, 5, 600 million copies sold. You know what I mean? That's a lot for gaming. And the amount of profit and revenue that they've made, the amount of Nintendo consoles that they've moved. You know what I mean? And that's gaming for years before these other platforms were even able to be relevant, right? So exclusives are very important to the sense of the way Nintendo did it. Because Sony's success was 85, 90% third party from the beginning all the way to the end. So I don't put them in the same field. This is why I had to this is why I had to say what I needed to say about this. Because when you want to cover something, make sure to cover the whole thing and say why you say that matters. Why is first party exclusives important? You're not just saying, oh, no, they don't matter. You know what I mean? Because everybody, no, no, no. Show me why you think that. You know what I mean? And I just gave you an idea how important that is. You know what I mean? And how if you get to play these IPs later, it's because they were made exclusive, right? Because these consoles existed for such a long period of time, all the way back then. That's the only reason those IPs were able to get made. They wouldn't have got made on PC because you wouldn't have had those individuals who made those consoles make that game. It wouldn't have existed. Mario wouldn't exist without Nintendo. You know what I mean? And if it wasn't for Mario, how many other platformers wouldn't exist without him? Same thing with Zelda and all those other games. Other things are born out of their worlds. And there's so many. It's not even funny. You can't even keep up with how many were born out of that ever since it began. So that's when you realize the importance of that. Not just saying that, oh, the industry is here now and exclusives don't matter and they're pointless. What do you mean by that? Do you mean like for Xbox? Yeah, of course I could see that at the point. It has to be timed, and for Sony it has to be timed. But if you say exclusives don't matter for Nintendo, then I have to say you're making a huge mistake. And that the reason why they can do that is because of how successful they are. Because let's not be hypocrites here. You know what I mean? If Microsoft was like Nintendo, they would not be doing what they're doing. If Sony was like Nintendo, they would not be doing what they're doing. All three would be competing at that degree of in-house power. They don't have it and they didn't work on it since the beginning like that. Microsoft at least tried with Halo and Gears and all those sorts of things, but Sony never did. Sega did, yeah. That's the closest thing I've ever seen to Nintendo ever. Because we need to talk about the importance of exclusives, and we need to talk about exclusives. Why do you buy a Nintendo? 90 to 95% because of their exclusives. Why do you buy a PlayStation? 90 plus percent because of third party. Why do you buy an Xbox now? Because of Game Pass. Back then, because of exclusives. Halo. Why'd you buy Sega? Sonic, and you see what I mean? It was always about exclusives, and PC was nowhere near as big back then, not even close, because there was no microtransactions or any of that. I like speak facts over here. So who has been leading the gaming industry for the longest? Consoles. Since the beginning of time, all the way here. Now, let's go to the totality of everything that has ever happened from the beginning, all the way here now. Combine everything Nintendo's ever done, everything Sony's ever done, everything Sega's ever done, everything anybody else has ever done for the console industry. And then we get to when PC started growing too. You combine all that, PC doesn't stand a chance. Of course it doesn't. It's got growth now, yes, but if we want to talk about totality, my entire resume from the beginning to the end, yeah, you better be damn sure it's going to be the highest rated Metacritic, the highest rated sales. It's going to be Nintendo. That's going to be exclusives. And you can say, man, imagine if that was on all those other consoles, right? Imagine if their games were on PC. Mario Kart would be at like 150 million sales. You know what I mean? But they're not doing it because they don't need to. So that's what we need to understand. I feel like I had to go deep into this because that's the important aspect of exclusives. That's the important aspect. Say, I got all these PlayStation games on PC. I got all these Xbox games on PC. Well, they exist because of the console. That's why it's good to have 4 different consoles. That's not bad. Why? Because you could have so many different unique stuff that would come out of that that would not exist if that wasn't there. You see what I'm saying? Because they didn't start off as third party. They started off as creating their own console. Well, Sony practically did, should you basically say that. Not to say they didn't have first party, but that's the difference. He's not going to say it like that, but I will because I will not justify Sony's first party with Nintendo's. They're not the same, not even close in ratio wise. So there's some things that he may sync with what I say right here, and there's some things I'm sure Alex and other people can sync with. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying this so people can sync with me. I'm saying this because this is the right way. You know what I mean? This is how things actually work. I'm not trying to win nobody over here. Not trying to convince you Nintendo is better because I like Nintendo. No, I'm saying this because that's exactly how it is, neutrally speaking. So yeah, my problem with Sony is locked games, making them exclusive as long as you can because you don't have your in-house. I'm not going to attack you because you want to do whatever the hell you want with your first party. You created it, it's yours. Nobody can tell you what to do with it. I don't care about nobody's opinion. I don't care about how much you're going to cry because you think exclusive should be over there or you think exclusive should stay there. They can do whatever the hell they want with their own games. And nobody has a right to feel entitled. And I'll tell the PC community the same thing because they think they're entitled to other people's exclusives. No, you're not. You didn't create it. You were not there. You didn't put the blood, sweat, and tears as a developer and dealt with all that hardships. And then you think they owe you something? They don't owe you shit. You see, Nintendo don't owe you nothing. They can take down as much as they want. It's their IPs. I will tell people this, and that's right because you could do whatever the hell you want with what you created. Who am I to tell you what you need to do with that? That's their free will of choice. That's why I feel like people are also a child and a man baby in the PC world. It's like you're immature. You think you have the right to everybody else's intellectual property. Who the hell are you to think you can give yourself that self-entitlement? They don't owe you nothing. You should be grateful you have all of this that they created. There's people that get so entitled they think they should have the same power as a developer, or like they're entitled to certain things. I've seen streamers do this. You got to pay me this much. Blah, blah. It's like, bro, they created that world. You're getting paid because of a world they created. They don't owe you nothing. Who do you think you are? You don't even know how to code a turd of shit. And I have to say it. You know what I mean? And this is where you see me being fair and being critical towards all devices. I've said it before. You know what I mean? I think Nintendo has done terrible things to where it's like, you didn't have to do that to them. You know what I mean? You're fine. But that's how they are. And I can't say how right or wrong they are in the situation of, I don't know how much you love. That's your degree of love of how you responded. You see what I mean? We have to really have this type of mindset about things and a lot of things in gaming. And we should be more appreciative instead of crying like man babies, because a lot of people do that and realize, wait, compared to 2007, I got way more than I can ever ask for. And you still sit there and cry. And you still think that somebody owes you something. You people to me are man babies. You are little children crying over toy stuff. It's like nobody owes you anything. To be honest with you, you have way more than enough, and you're still crying like brats. Just saying. That's kind of like what I have to say. Like speaking from a very mature perspective. Now we can get back on this playing this game. Like I told you, to me this is child's play, but that's what I had to say. And this is important. Yeah, it took a portion of the video, but it needs to be said.
All this year, false narratives are dying.
About
Go woke, go broke. Kingdom Come Deliverance, Monhun Wild, Split Fiction, and AC Shadows.
bro, does he really want to play this game, man? Because do you want to know how much how much damage it has done to gaming since it's got into here? And it's not the woke stuff, because even that's not the same. Just like I've attacked it, I will continue to, because it's not the same. The original idea of it, just like the original idea of the A word, it's not the same. Words change. The way the politics use that word now, the way that they see it and the way that it's used in their hands, not the way that it was originally designed, it's not the same thing. Same thing with DEI, right? Because that's actually, if you look up the original meaning of it, it goes back to the creator. But if you flip it upside down and backwards, now you see it being used in that manner. And that gives you another manifestation of something kind of being true in front of your face if you really want to play that game. Ever since that stuff has came into the gaming industry, and you are full of shit to me if you deny this, it has done nothing but damage. It has not done anything beneficial for gaming. All it has done is hurt gaming. Assassin's Creed got nothing but bad press. Ubisoft got destroyed completely. A company that we all cared about. Rocksteady Games, the Batman team, got destroyed completely. The people that made Dustborn, because of that game, because of that influence, they all got destroyed completely. And I liked Heavy Rain, right? I liked From Detroit. You could see a company that was actually good. When that shit comes in there, it destroys everything. It's just an honest result in front of our faces. Same thing with Suicide Squad. It completely destroyed them. They lost so much money. Wonder Woman got dead out. They already canceled that. You just named a few games that got out because they were so good. They got out of it. Monster Hunter clearly has a trans voice actor. What the fuck does that have to do with Monster Hunter? You know what I mean? Well, because Capcom is so god tier, they said, they're so good, they still broke through. Because they were smart the way they did it. But Sony got destroyed. Biggest failure in gaming history because of a DEI game, Concord. Bro, if you're sitting here telling me, because I've covered this shit for like a year and a half, I've seen how many industries have gotten destroyed, and it has nothing to do with racism. Of course, that includes racism, but what I mean is like it's not because woke to me does not mean a color. No. It's a political ideology that just wants to destroy gaming. Is there racism there? Yeah, of course. But the idea is to attack. If we want to talk about racism, it's against the Caucasian male and against the Japanese. If we want to talk about racism like an Assassin's Creed, right? Or an intergalactic heretic prophet, why do you keep on using a certain race the wrong way? Why does it always have to be in the worst means? So they're the ones that are racist. People that are pushing those agendas. Like I said, the original meaning of that could not mean that, but the way that they're using it, it's right there in front of your face. You don't have to be that smart. You could be a little bit smart to figure out and say, hey, why is it every time this comes up, things are destroyed? Right? Things get hurt. right? We're not going to be no other people that certain people don't like, because they're getting attacked lately. And it's like I said, you got to call out things when it's wrong, and then it's like if you pick at every little thing every single little day, you know what I mean? Like you would never see me do that. Like, okay, now you guys are being petty. I kind of feel like you're being like you're acting like a woman. You know what I mean? You try to nitpick on everything. Oh my God, he changed this little outfit. This is this, man. Let's just damn the whole game. Though the whole game could be really good. So you're on the game to cry about an outfit? Bro, what are you, a female? You see what I mean? Like that's why I'm like, no. I only care if you're destroying a company I care about and you ruin the damn game. Then I have a problem with it because I'm looking at that. I'm here about games. You know what I mean? I want all that crap out because you're not helping. Don't try to tell me that there's not this colored person in this video game or there's not some Indian guy here. And I was like, bro, shut up. If the game is good, it's good. Nobody said anything about any of that back then. And there was plenty of diversity naturally in life. It's automatically there. When you start like trying to force things, you know what I mean? If somebody's sitting there painting something, I don't need you to hover over me and tell me I think it needs to be this color. No, it's going to be whatever it is that comes out of me. That's the thing that I'm talking about. It's like an artist don't need you to tell him what to do. You know what I mean? A painter does not need you to walk around him and make, you know what I mean? No, leave him alone, wait till it's finished, and then see how it comes out. The developer should get the same treatment. Now, it needs to be this. It needs to be no, when you're doing that, you're interfering with a natural process of creation. Y'all hear me on this? This is the right way to do it. This is the problem that I have with it. That, oh, if you don't comply, I'm firing you. Even the people that led your whole team for the longest. Now let's get a bunch of new recruits in here. Now let's say these dummy little sayings and boot camps and to say these stupid little pronouns and distract people with all this. And now people are in here and they don't know what they're doing. Now the game is unfinished. It has a bunch of bugs. So what are we talking about? You know how much damage it's done? This is why I had to cover this, y'all, because I get tired of people like this that annoy the shit out of me with their stupidity and their stupid little games like they don't see it. And it's quite clear what you're trying to push for. Get out of here with that crap, man. We're talking about as a gamer. If you really cared about gaming, then you would be more honest about what you see. I don't give a damn about politics, but I will tell you what, I know what it is and I know how it works. It's the devil's game. Playing a puppet master. I'm on both sides. You know what I mean? You come in through this wing, coming through that wing, but guess what? It's the same being behind both wings, pulling the strings. Wake up. You see what I'm saying? Ain't none of them coming to save nobody. So if that comes into the gaming industry, what is it gonna do? Divide, conquer, and destroy. And steal stuff. That's what it did. How do you think when that gets brought up, people get divided? People come over here, oh, you're a you got the people fighting amongst each other against like, look behind you. They're doing all this, not you. Point blank proven.
Shut the frick up and get ratioed on Twitter, you bunch of clowns. Just shut up.
So Ubisoft is in trouble, bro. They already sold 25% of their company to Tencent. You think that game helped them? Over there reporting player numbers, not sales? It failed. They were looking to sell their IPs to Microsoft and EA before the game even launched because they saw that there was no pre-order numbers. They messed up. They could have done things better. He could have been a side character, could have still been in the game. There's something wrong with him being in the game. No, it's the way you did it. You did it all wrong, and you knew what you were doing. You stirred the pot, and then you backed off, and you caused all that ruckus out there. You deserve what you got. They did that. Not any races or any of that. They didn't make anything. Realize who's in control and who's actually doing all this. And that's my thing when I tell people, you lost your mind again, and you let them get the best of you. What did they do? They puppeted you. They had you attacking each other. Nobody should have attacked Japan. You got your damn mind. How much have they done for you? You didn't do anything for them. So my thing is just like, just realize when this type of stuff happens, wait, what's really going on? And realize they're playing that little stupid game with you again, and they're trying to divide you and make you attack each other. And you didn't have any problem with anybody before that.
Narrative, dead. Dead.
No, that narrative is dead. The all that political stuff, it's dying. It doesn't work. So yeah, but you see what he's trying to do? It's almost like he's siding with politics over humanity. Did they got him brainwashed that bad?
I told you that one would die. I said, you had easy targets in 2024. Not so in...
What happened with Dragon Age? Destroyed the entire game. Tried to brainwash the young age with it. What is this guy talking about? I'm just being real here. You know what I mean? I don't give a damn about being no anti-war. Oh, that no, 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 no. I'm against any of the corruption. You see what I'm saying? And I call it like I see it because we're going to be real over here. He's not going to call it like he sees it. He's a sellout.
2025. There's another false narrative. Gaming's dead, dude. Gaming's cooked. Gaming
No, the Xbox is dead was a false narrative that's dying.
sucks. Gaming's headed to a crash.
Not going to say
is it? Tell that to all the record sales this year. Tell that to all the Game of the Year contenders that we've already got, and it's April the 1st. It's been 3 months. Beyond RPG Gaming, is that a renewal or an upgrade? That's a member plus. Bump of the line to 154. If that's an upgrade, we're a 20 bomb away from 175. We've had a couple of 20 bombs already today. So those narratives have died. Do you want to know what other narrative is going to die in just a blaze of glory this year? Is that exclusives are anti-consumer?
Nobody never said that. But he wants to try to use Nintendo to justify that. I never once thought exclusives are anti-consumer. I thought third-party timed exclusives that you're locking away from other communities that you didn't develop is anti-consumer. It is. Not your game. Why are you locking away from other people? You don't care about the consumer. You only care about what you can build in your ecosystem. That's anti-consumer. Exclusives, it's the point of consoles. Right?
And a big, giant, Godzilla-sized monster that everybody always conveniently forgets about is just going to squash it. Nintendo.
Of course. Because they're the only ones that can do it. The only reason they're doing that is because they have to. And they can't get their fucking head together and realize, oh, I can't spend $250, $300 million on a single player game. How about style over just hyper detailed Western graphics? You know what I mean? That hyper detail focus of making things real. We're video games here. Everything looks so good now. Make really good video games. It's their problem. They're the ones that keep on making up those ridiculous budgets. Nintendo will never do that. And they're winning. Do we not see that? It's not about that. But yet they still keep doing that. And they showed them with the Switch 1. So, dude, this fucking little device, I mean, even the Xbox One X that had 6 teraflops was literally 7 times more powerful than the Switch 1. GPU-wise. Now you have the PlayStation 5, which is 11 times more powerful. Series X, like 13 times more powerful. You got all the technology you need. That's not the problem here. But yet they keep trying to go up. But yet you don't see the gaming development match with it.
Nintendo's going to walk out and be like, oh, exclusives are anti-consumer, huh? That's interesting. Here's a bunch
Nobody said anything against them.
of long-standing franchises and recognizable IP that you can only get on our platform. I can't wait for all these people to demonize Nintendo for doing that.
It's not going to work.
Great. I can't wait for those podcasts and videos. And a 20 bomb from Pathalon
Memberships. Here's my thing. Nobody attacks them because they realize that you open the doors. We know you open the doors. We have all this because of you. Not only did you open the doors, but you opened so many more doors after that consistently with all these IPs you've made to make us get the foundation of jumping, wall jumping, flying. The idea of here's a handheld on the go. Like, they've done so much for gaming, it's not even funny. They don't take from gaming like Sony does. They create. So you can put the price that you want there because you created everything. They may not drop the price as much. They're more friendly now than ever. But at the end of the day, you know when you buy something, you're going to get that quality. Somebody can go to the movie theaters and spend $100 and some with a few people. That's one day. You can buy a game and play it all year for half the price. Entertainment value, time. You see what I mean? It depends on how you look at it. They don't come and say, this is my game. You know what I mean? This is my game. This is my game. Oh, I need a jack. No. Same thing with the Nintendo Direct. Or they found out they can do their own, right? Like, when you just think about the things that you're putting out in the gaming world and making better, and then everybody else is doing it, and it's bettering the whole entire industry. Because they're all about everyone, right? Creating for everyone, making the world better for everyone. And there may be some people that have missed that don't see that, but we do. Um, and then you wonder why they sell so much because people are having fun. That's the point of a video game, not graphics. You know. So I'm not saying he's wrong, but he's wrong in trying to justify Sony's tax by trying to bring in Nintendo as if like they have some equivalency or equivalency, right? Like he liked to say, to where it's like their first party and their first party is the same. You know why Sony's being attacked? Not the same. Reforge. They're 90% third party success. Nintendo's like 90% first party. And it's the way that they did it. Like you have to go deeper into this. It's like I had to go deep into what you were saying about politics, about it's just narratives that died. No, no, no. What died is those narratives that were trying to be pushed, and that's a way bigger die off. But the damage they did though in the dying process is not good. Companies that we've cared about for decades since the beginning have been hurt significantly. And is that the 100% the reason why? No, but that's a big percentage. There's other reasons too. It's because of the choices that they made. So that's what we need to understand. That it just needs to be about I'm hiring you because you are fit for the job. You're fit for what I need to do, right? You don't want nobody being hired on to fly your airplane or to be your doctor because of diversity, right? That's when you're now messing with life and death, and it can get dangerous and ridiculous. It's like, bro, whoever's the best for the job. I don't care if you are freaking pink. I don't care if you're orange. I don't care if you're a blue race. If you are the best for the job, you get hired for that. I hire based off of narrative. I mean, a merit and quality. Because no matter where you go, you do want the best experience, and whoever is the best man for the job should get that job. Point blank. Period. That's how things work. That's how they always should work. Tell me where I'm wrong there. So, other than that, um, we just need to understand this first party demonizing coming from people who were thinking that Phil Spencer was trying to demonize exclusives. He never once said anything about Nintendo. It was only about Xbox versus PlayStation. So let's keep that in that dimension, right? Don't try to bring Nintendo into a problem that Sony can't solve. That's what you're trying to do. This is still about you trying to defend Sony. It's not working, at least not over here. All right, y'all, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. I had to go deep on this and pull down the curtain a little bit. Peace out, y'all. Stay cool. Ponies, sit down. You can learn something over here. There's a lot more than gaming over here, but this is what we're covering here. But since all this other stuff gets in here, we know what has to happen. All right, y'all. Peace out.